I don't like redheads, man. Redhead chicks, I don't like redheads. And it's like, has a redhead ever asked you out? No. If these comic book shows were inviting me and calling me and saying, Jim, we want to fly you out, or Jim, I'd be like, you know what? Comic book shows are the greatest thing ever. You need to do all of them. You know, but
I think that's probably the pinnacle you need to work towards is start to get invited, getting paid for, your flights, your hotel, everything, and here we'll give you $5,000 to speak at our comic book.
There you go.
Well, and then you're like, I'm sorry,
I'm booked.
I don't have.
And I've been lucky enough a couple of times. It's happened where I've been invited to stuff and I've gone, and even the pain to do a panel, that's happened. Not $5,000, but I got a couple of Twix bars and and a soda. But it makes a difference when you're invited and stuff. It makes a difference. It changes the whole perspective. It's like, I'm a hypocrite.
I've always, just looking forward to the event. I'm like, oh man, I'm not sure if I want to do it. But once I get there, I enjoy it. I enjoy talking to the people, the fans, and all that stuff. So it's just the anticipation. Okay, this is going to be a day. It's going to be work, but when I get there, it's fun. So
Paul, you got to do some of them, Paul, and you got to keep showing your animation in public too.
Mm-hmm.
I want to tell the story about the Made in Michigan Film Festival. Ken, Jim, I already told you this story, I think, about I'm having a hard time remembering. It's been so long since we started the podcast. I don't know if I told this story.
We've had 2 time changes. A presidential election.
So I went to the Made in Michigan Film Festival, and they had an afterglow party at the Frankenmuth Brewery. So my wife she was with Julia there, my producer, and so I decided to go out to this afterglow party by myself, and I didn't know anybody there really. I'd met a few people briefly at the film festival, and so I decided to sit down next to the artist who made the poster for the film festival. And I talked to this guy for a while. He's from Bay City, Michigan, and he's got a gallery. And then a couple of other partners were there, and they were really cool guys. But they were older, and they had to go. They were retired, so they left. And so then I was like, okay, all these young hip filmmakers were there. I'm gonna go sit next to them. And there's this one guy, Jeff Myers, who I had met briefly earlier, was there. And they were talking about the transitions in movies. They were making fun of these people that use transitions, like the cross dissolve or the mosaic or, the star that goes like this. And so as they were talking about that, I was like, I think I used all of those in my film, And they kind of look at me like, oh, you idiot. And but Jeff was trying to be a little more friendly about it. So he says, well, I know in Star Wars they use the wipe. And somebody mentioned that, they stole that from Kurosawa. And this other guy said, let me tell you something. George Lucas is no Kurosawa. And they all busted out laughing, And I don't even know who Kurosawa is.
It's a sushi restaurant.
Oh, okay. Well... so anyway, no, and since then I've researched a little bit of Kurosawa.
Yeah.
And Jim and we talked about it a little bit. He's I want to study that more, analyze more of his filmmaking. But apparently he used the wipe as well. So I'll be more conscientious of my transitions in my next film.
There's a good documentary on YouTube on Kurosawa. I don't know if you saw it. I'll send it over to you.
Oh, okay.
It talks about his filmmaking style and like parallels it to the modern filmmakers and how they use that same style that he kind of started. So.
Oh, okay. I think I may have watched a little bit of it yesterday after Jim and I were talking about it.
It was really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, like he always has weather going on or something like. You might be an indoor scene, but the windows have their snow,
Yeah.
or something. And there's lots of characters always milling around, and
Right.
yeah, interesting. And then they compared it to the modern day films, like they had the one with all the superheroes. What's the
Avengers.
Yes, they were doing like juxtaposing a Kurosawa scene to the
Mm-hmm.
Avengers, and you had like one character in the Avengers moving, and walking around in dialogue for extended periods. So it would have been like, some of the amateur
Right.
moves that I made in my film were made in the Kurosawa's films made the Avengers look amateurish almost.
Right.
You know?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was pretty interesting
Yeah.
documentary.
I got to check out. I'm gonna go on YouTube and check that out because that sounds like really cool. Because he's especially Star Wars films. Lucas
Mhm.
did borrow real heavily from Kurosawa.
Yeah. Yeah. See, and when I saw these movies, I didn't watch with a critical eye, having never tried to
Yeah.
do that. And now I could watch the films in a completely different way. In fact, I can hardly watch them anymore because
You know who else borrows really heavily from Kurosawa? Adam Sandler. No, I'm just kidding.
And that's actually when we were doing filmmaking with my buddy, that's kind of one of the things that we did is we watched a lot of film and we did screenshots of composition of how the actors, the background, all these things are placed in a scene, and we're like, okay, those are the ones that we want to look at and get inspired by and even copy them, and that's probably where you're at right now as you're watching these things. Sometimes you're not even enjoying the film anymore because you're just analyzing everything that they're that they're doing. How does the camera move? Okay, this is a high angle. This is a low angle. How does this? Like for example, in a lot of film, we see a guy looking out the window. He's talking to a guy who's looking at his back. We don't do that in real life. Nobody looks out the window and then somebody's talking, to your back. But but you get that one shot where you see both of them facing the camera. Little things like that. You're like, oh wow, that's interesting. How they do that kind of stuff.
At work, you're very sinister.
Yes. Right. I want to do that at work. Like, I know people that do that.
Yeah.
I got a guy that I work with that always does this. So, and he looks off in the corner, and he tells the story about how this went to there and this, and he does this, and then so and then inevitably I'm looking up at the corner like, what are you looking at?
There's a spider.
You should definitely write Kurosawa a fan letter. You should, or
and
maybe
personally deliver it.
Fan email. He's Kurosawa@AOL.com.
He still uses AOL. It's not GeoCities.
Sorry, he's at Hotmail. It's the K-man at Hotmail.com.
I might hand deliver him to his estate or whatever.
Another one. I don't know if you're into photography, but that's another thing that you can take up on to learn camera techniques. Is just pick up photography and move the camera around and see how you can compose things, because that really helps a lot. So one of the things I wanted to mention, we were talking about different filmmakers, is how, like Steven Spielberg, how he always will pan to somebody's hand. Like the Indiana Jones scene where he pans to Indy's hand and then Indy clenches it and then punches the guy.
Oh yeah.
How he uses kind of off-screen shots like that.
Yeah.
Where instead of always focusing on the guy, you focus on something else.
I gotcha.
So little things like that, I think it adds so much to.
This was years ago. I saw they kind of broke down Stanley Kubrick when Jack Nicholson had his axe, and he was going like this on the door, on The Shining.
Yeah.
The camera was actually, if you watch that scene, the camera was actually like panning backwards as he pulled the axe back, and it would go forward real fast. So the axe was actually kind of like in the middle of your screen and hardly even moving, and everything else was moving, but the axe kind of stayed. It was pretty wild.
That's pretty cool.
So he must have had the camera on like a track or something, just moving it back and forth. I don't know how he did.
He used the selfie stick on the axe.
Selfie stick, yeah.
That's what it was.
And learn your lesson. Don't copy Stanley Kubrick because you'll only hurt yourself.
It doesn't work in animation. Huh?
Yeah, trust me.
Yeah, they'll be like, why isn't the X moving at all? What's going on?
This is the worst animator ever. You can't even manage to get the axe to move. You know? It's just a motion tween. He's got to watch a tutorial on YouTube.
Are you using Flash to make your animation?
Yeah.
Yeah, both of us are, huh? But neither of us are drawing in Flash, though, right?
You're not? Okay.
No, I don't draw in Flash, but I'm contemplating it. But Jim...
Yeah, I draw in a sketchbook. I was looking around as if I have, but I draw in a sketchbook and scan it into Photoshop.
Well, Ken was one of the first people when I watched your tutorial, or I call it a tutorial. I mean, it's just a little demonstration, Ken, where you drew a children's book page on the computer.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I remember I was doing my books on paper, but back then, and I thought, man, I can never draw like that on my tablet. And now I got rid of all my paper.
Yeah.
I strictly draw.
Dare you?
I know. I think I may have some line paper. But yeah, I even have, I do my sketching on my iPad now.
Oh, wow.
Sketchbook, so.
I could never get on the iPad thing. I tried it and I'm like, man, this is too hard.
Oh, really?
So, yeah.
Yeah.
How do you get you sketch in your iPad? Do you color it in Photoshop?
No, I got Sketchbook Pro on my iPad.
On your iPad, and do you just export the file as to animate it, or are you talking about for your comics?
No, just for sketching, just like practicing.
Oh, okay.
Which Jim doesn't do.
I don't believe me.
Just,
technology. I have a Wacom that I use, but
oh, you do?
Yeah, but I don't draw my main characters on that usually.
Right. Let me show you.
I'll cheat. Sometimes I'll cheat and I'll do a background or a character in it, but
yeah, hang on.
I mean, that saves you a lot of time just doing it on the computer.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. I mean, ideally, I probably should, or but I actually enjoy drawing in a sketchbook though too. I like because if I travel somewhere, I like to be able to. I can work on some background characters and just
But Jim doesn't practice. Everything that Jim does is showtime.
My life.
Showtime right now.
That's what I would say if I was a professional athlete. I go, no, Jim doesn't practice.
That's another thing. At work, I need to start talking about myself in third person.
Third person, yeah.
Jimmy don't run no laps. Isn't that from Seinfeld? There's a character that was like Jimmy. Yeah.
I don't know if... Okay, so I drew Can you guys see that?
Mm-hmm.
Now, the audio podcasters cannot see this. But
Paul is showing us a naked photo of himself on a police car.
Looks good.
I
can see it, yeah.
This is my sketchbook. Okay. And I just got tons of little sketches in here.
Do you use a stylus or your finger to draw?
Yeah, I did it. I did some of them with my finger at first, but then I got a stylus because I just feels more.
Right.
That's cool, and that's an app. I'm sure.
Yeah, Sketchbook Pro.
Okay.
And I know
you'll probably love the new iPad Pro with the pencil thing.
Yeah, I want to get one, but I don't know if I could justify the money right now. Here, we talked about this guy earlier. So you can do pretty good sketches.
Paul is showing us a photo of Christopher Walken that he drew. Wow, that's amazing. You should put that. Is that on your website?
That's really good.
I don't know. That was one of the first ones I did.
If it's not Christopher Walken, it's terrible. But if it is Christopher Walken, that's amazing.
There's actually a guy by the name of Brian Miller. I don't know if you've heard of him. No. I think he's the owner of Hi-Fi Comics. What his company does a lot of coloring for major comic book companies.
Okay.
So, and he is, at least from what I've seen, he is a big supporter of using the iPad for a lot of their work.
Oh, really?
They do. He actually has a book that gives you tutorials on how to use your iPad for coloring and artwork and things like that. So
Wow, that's
really cool.
that's
the
really cool. I like that.
inspiration for my new movie. This is
That is really cool.
City
Okay.
floating through space. So
That's nice. And you did that. Wow, that's tempting to get that app.
yeah,
And I
Is
think
this, is this podcast being sponsored by that app?
Sketchbook Pro. That's what you use, right, Ken? On your
I have it on my computer.
yeah, on your computer.
And I think when you're drawing on the iPad, it's almost like painting. I think you're not getting into the nitty gritty details of your piece. It's almost like you have to stand back to look at it, at the
Well,
entire piece, and it looks cool that way.
Like, check it out. All right, here's one. I was doing this one at work,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
in meetings I just doodle, So the face you can I couldn't do. You can't get that detail, but if you take your,
Zoom in, all right?
shoot, darn it! Wait a minute, I got to click on edit. There, and so then I can take and draw in the eyes,
Yeah.
in detail.
So Paul is zooming into the picture, so he's like drawing. He can draw on it when it's larger. That's what you're doing, right?
Yeah. Thanks, Jim.
No problem. No problem, Stevie. We got you.
So anyway, yeah, you can do the details like that. It's pretty cool. I really enjoy it, But I haven't used. I did do some sketches that I used for final. And then I kind of redrew them
Look,
on
Paul,
my computer.
what I got for my iPad. It's called the Sharpie Pro. Not suggested for use with your iPad. You could use it one time only, and then it's over.
Is that an 8 gig or a 32 gig?
This is
Sharpie?
an 8-point. Fine.
The thing about it though is that I do miss real media. There's nothing. You get the smell and the feel of the actual. Jim Lujan is holding up a
precise pen.
precise V5.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, greatest drawing implement I've ever discovered. Yeah,
I love those pens.
I love it too. Right behind it is this. Where is it? I have all my pens, by the way, in my Kiss,
Kiss.
mug.
Nice.
Right behind it is. I don't think I have it here. Do I? I used to use nothing but. Here, I'm gonna show you something else too. And this is where you're gonna get jealous. This is my original pencil and pen box.
Oh, wow.
It's a metal camel box.
See, right?
Where did you get that?
I found this on a dead hobo. So, but
Was it before he died or after?
well, he wouldn't give it up. So
Now he's dead.
actually, I really did find this on the street.
Wow.
In
That's
Los
awesome.
Angeles. I found this on the street, and not in a dumpster. But here's my old school from the early 2000s. This was what I used to use a lot. The Sharpie
Yeah,
extra fine point.
those are awesome.
Yeah, I love these pens.
And then
Yeah.
they got the fat end too, right?
Yeah, the fat ones, I still use those, but I digital is awesome. I have nothing against it. In fact, I do digital work here and there, but I just really enjoy. It's kind of like I guess record snobs are into vinyl.
Yeah.
Right.
Pens and ink and paper. Yeah, there you go.
Unopened.
It's like vinyl. It's like I really enjoy that. And then plus I sell my original artwork for thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. So.
That's one thing you can't do digitally.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right, all
Well,
right.
you can if you sell them the computer.
Yeah.
but yeah, I just there's something therapeutic
Yeah,
about
I think
it.
I want to make a statement and actually draw a picture with my Sharpie or my Marks a Lot marker on my computer right now.
Paul, you got an exclusive. This is the first time this has ever been photographed in the history.
That's awesome.
So.
Hey, all right, how am I going to break this thing up, guys?
You know what? You should break it up at the hour mark because it's 2 hours. So just
Yeah, we're
make it
looking
2
at-
episodes.
Now,
We're
hey,
totally hogging his show. So.
yeah, Ken. Jim has already been on the deserted island, so Jim and I are going to do what I do to every guest at the end of
Okay.
the podcast.
Oh yeah.
We're going to put.
Wow.
Oh wait, but first, what do you, Ken? Quick go over. You got the Stumps book coming out.
Yep.
What else?
I got the Stumps of Flat Top Hill, February, March of next year, and I've got It Hurts Like a Mother on May. So of next year.
That could be a Jim Lujan short. This is, I don't know what that's about,
So
but the name of it is cool. It hurts like a mother.
yeah.
You know, I mean,
Hurts like a mother.
yeah, there's a lot more to that than just those words.
Yeah.
You know,
So those are good. And we got the monstrous comic book series coming out next year as well, February, March next year.
and
So
that's what you collaborate
Yeah.
with Greg Wright.
yeah, with Greg Wright. So we finished all 4 comics and working on the 5th one.
Wow.
But yeah, it's cool. They're releasing the what is it? Source Point Comics is releasing all 4 of them, and then they're doing a trade paperback after. So that's
Ken, do
pretty
you do freelance work?
cool. I do, but depending on my time, if I
Okay.
have any, But yeah,
Our other friend Ken Mora, he's always looking for guys to.
his name sounds really familiar. So I'm like,
Yeah.
maybe I wonder if I know him on Facebook or something. Yeah,
Maybe.
yeah.
I was gonna say he's always looking for guys to hire, but that sounds terrible. So.
Yeah, I'm,
it's all-
yeah, it's just if I'm in love with a project, I'll work on it. But for the most part, I like to work on my own stuff. So
yeah, me too.
So Ken, we're gonna put you on a deserted island.
all right,
You are on a deserted island, and then we're gonna go over 5. I know. Get ready, and you get 5 items, 1 of each, and we're gonna tell you what the items are, and you got to pick. It's kind of like a rapid fire thing.
all right.
So it's being a deserted island. The first item you get is a dessert. You get 1 dessert. What are you gonna take?
Strawberries.
Strawberries.
Is that considered a dessert?
In certain cultures, it is.
Oh, okay.
I'm pro strawberry.
Yeah, I
Jim,
like strawberries.
go ahead with number 2. Item.
Okay, and number 2, and I won't say take. Okay, if you could have 1 music act, but I'll say in CD form because if you can't have them in person, because then you're going to take like, I'll take
Right.
Stefani. But what music CD act would you take? And I guess just a band. It could be their whole collection. Let's say
I'd probably go with Jack Johnson.
he's probably already on the island. Actually, sir.
That's what I was
Right,
thinking. It's
right.
like, okay, island music. Might as well have a little
There you
surf
go.
going on. Yeah.
Yeah, he's already
You're
on.
on the plane.
Okay, the next item is going to be a book.
Ooh,
1 book.
shoot, this is hard.
There's a lot riding on this.
Yeah. What book would I have on the island? I actually like the Little Prince book. Probably have that.
What's the little? Who's that by? What's
You mean Purple Rain?
It's actually coming out as a movie, The Little Prince.
sounds familiar?
Yeah, you should look it up. Can't pronounce the name of the author. It's I believe a French movie or a French author. So it's
Yeah,
about this. It's about this little prince who lives. It's actually kind of weird because it's connected to the island as well. It's a little prince who lives on a small planet, and little prince has to catch a comet with his net, and then he ends up crashing on Earth. And then he meets this pilot who crashed his plane in the desert. So they kind of, they create this friendship. You should. It's a kid's book, but it's kind of not really.
So it's kind of like Mork and Mindy meets Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. So That's right.
Yeah. So that was actually I like that book. Yeah.
Cool.
I wouldn't
Okay.
mind having that. Yeah.
All right, Jim. Want to do number 4?
Yes. If you could only take one tool on that island, what would it be, and why?
There's a Swiss Army knife work.
Yeah, that works. Yeah, that'll work.
I think the why is obvious on that one, right?
Yeah, that would be my
I don't know.
MacGyver.
What do you do with it? Okay, last one is going to be the. This is my favorite. You get to take one actress.
I don't know.
Just so they could act for you, right? Okay.
One actress? I don't know.
And Jessica Tandy is. I got her on my island.
Oh, okay.
Were you doing like Weekend at Bernie's or?
It's hard to because celebrities are kind of annoying in a way.
Never. They're all super, super real.
Madonna's cool, right, Jim?
Awesome.
Yeah. Not when she wakes up in the morning.
I'd probably opt to not have any actress. I just use my imagination. Just put it that.
Safe, well played.
Yeah, I'll stay away from Hollywood.
Actually, Jim gave the best answer on that one.
What did I say?
Carol Burnett, which I thought was brilliant.
She's lots of actresses.
Because she's really great, but your wife is fine with it, you know. Like, I could hang with Carol Burnett. My wife would be cool with it.
Or you could take Fran Drescher so she could scare all the predators away.
Oh my god. Are there going to be any villains on the island? Do I get to? Have you guys seen Arrow? the show?
The TV show? I've heard of it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Basically, yeah, he's on an island as well on that one.
Not the whole show, is it, right?
No, it kind of goes back and forth. He gets ship stranded on the island, and stuff happens on the island, but he goes back to the city, and now he has to, like, avenge the death of his father and all this stuff. But I was just thinking, like, is there, like, protein whey on the island? Because when he gets back, he's so buff, and how does he keep in shape?
Is there a smoke monster on this island?
No, there isn't on this island.
Or is there a Professor and Marianne on this island? Okay. You never give us a list of the correct answers anyway, so one day we'll have to look at the cheat sheet.
I'm gonna have to compile like this. I'm gonna put all the people on the island. We're gonna have like a Survivor reunions episode. We're all going back to the island to remind everybody what it is that they took to the island. You know.
I think you're working on some kind of a new short film here with the people that your guests and what they brought to the island. There's something there.
Pate Island.
Yeah. The Pate Island. Welcome, you are my guests.
Welcome. The
Pate, boss. The
Pate. I ask you to bring 5 things.
And at the end, he goes, I brought 5 things, and he just makes a fist and punches me in the face.
See, I'm telling you, like, you guys, this could be a great film. I just need to
put that on your list. That's gonna get made soon. Yeah.
You'll get our invoice tomorrow morning.
Look, I'm starting to animate it right now.
Very nice.
All right, guys, I'm gonna wrap it up, and this will be out as soon as Bill Plimpton releases his film, and you get your book done.
There we go.
Seriously, we're at like almost 2 hours.
You gotta cut that thing in half there.
Yeah, I'm just gonna have to. It's all about the editing.
Snip, snip.
All right.
And it was really, really nice meeting you, Ken.
You too. We'll have to connect some other ways on the social networks.
Yeah.
Adding as a contact as we speak.
Yeah, it was fun for me to have you guys on because you're both 2 of my favorite dudes. My dudes.
Now we're gonna get together and block you now, Paul.
Damn it!
We're already conspiring.
I know. My little speech earlier
it's
way
the west.
off.
This is the east.
Yeah. Should have never introduced you two.
This video is inadmissible in court.
There you go.
All right, guys. I'm seriously late for bedtime.
All right, guys.
Yep. Good night.